Right. So what we have discussed in the previous session about the user story here, right? So user stories followed by issues, followed by the kind of attachments, creating task, subtask, at the same time creating any kind of LinkedIn, creating any kind of Confluence pages connectivity, right? So this is what we have discussed so far. And now I'm going to discuss about the configuration part. So configuration fields are required here. So wherein any issues we have in reference to the Jira board itself is concerned, there is an option for configuration where this configuration fields has to be updated. Means if you want to add anything and all, you can add to the existing ones or else you don't require to do that. Now here there is an option called configure field, right? So configure field where you have to see when the actual, for example, this is the issue, right? So this is an issue we have taken. So when I actually started and when I actually ended, you want to know, for example, right? So this is what we want to know here. Now, if you want to add these fields to the existing layout, what is that we are preparing? We can add it, right? Actual start can be taken. At the same time, we can create actual end also, right? So if you are making any kind of changes to the existing ones, and if you can go to the board here, in reference to the configuration, you can see, right? So here you can see actual start and actual end dates were mentioned, right? So these sort of configurations can be done because if you see here, there is no actual end, there is no actual start and end earlier. Now, based on the configurations and all, this actual start, end and all, everything can be done. This is one thing in reference to the configuration I'm talking about. At the same time, for example, if you want to know about the kind of approvers, right? So whoever is going to approve this, all that stuff, right? So approvers can be added to this. For example, if there is any kind of risk which is involved in it. For example, change management concept. So what is change management concept? For example, there are some changes happens to the particular issue where we want to make changes out of it, right? So this is what it is. So this change may have a risk. This risk may be of any types. This risk may be a budget risk. Risk may be a financial or operative risk or regulatory risk, whatever the risks we have and all. So risk has to be assessed. So for example, right, for any issue, if you want to add any kind of risks and all, change type was added. Change reason type means what kind of change type is this? Is this a functional one, non-functional one, security one? That has to be decided. At the same time, reason, for what reason are you making changes out of it? Because is there any specific reason are we talking about? That has to be updated here accordingly. At the same time, risk also, right? So it's not only reason because of the kind of risk, what is that we are because of the changes, what is that we are doing into the existing ones? What kind of risk is something involved here? Essentially here and all everything can be seen under the risk. At the same time, if you would like to know about the environment, right? So what kind of environment we have, that can be updated here. At the same time, story point estimations and all everything was there. If you want to add any kind of team, you can add. Simply you can click on save, go back to the board, wherein open the first issue. What is that we have taken, right? The first issue, if you can see here, right? So there will be a team details was mentioned here, where you have to mention the team details, whoever the team and all those details can be mentioned if there is any. At the same time, in reference to the environment, right? What environment is this functionality we are developing? For this particular issue, what is the hardware and software requirement? Because for all the project, environment is same, right? So because you don't see any difference in reference to the changes itself is concerned, either it could be in hardware or software requirement, that changes has to be mentioned. At the same time, whatever the changes we have made, you can click on save. At the same time, here you can write down the risk, right? So what is risk is involved in reference to the change? What kind of risk? Is it a critical risk, high risk, medium and as well as low risk and all everything we have to identify, right? So change risk. At the same time, if you want to make any kind of reasons, is it for what reason changes are we are doing it? Means is this functionality we are changing because of the repair part, or is it something that we want to upgrade it, or is it something relating to maintenance or new functionality? Everything has to be mentioned here. At the same time, change type has to be mentioned, right? What kind of change type is this? Is it a standard type, normal or emergency? That also can be done. Next, when we talk about approvers, right? Who is going to approve this? Normally, this will be approved by the people who are managing it. That is what it is. So all these things can be added to the existing ones. You can see here, whatever the requirements and all, everything can also be added to this. So when you talk about the issue, there is, again, I'm repeating you, there is an option called configure, where whatever the configuration you want to make, what are the changes you want to make out of it. So those changes can be added, sir, that you can add as many changes as you want. Whatever is related to the existing set, those are all the changes can be added to the existing screen, right? This is what generally one can do. So this is all about the fields configuration in reference to the issue I am talking about. Okay, this is all for today. So we'll discuss about the remaining points in the next video. Thank you.